Hello everyone. I hope you are doing extremely well. So today we are solving one of the most important interview problems from LeetCode. Problem number 53, which is the maximum shove array, as you can see. So this problem is extremely famous because it teaches Kadane algorithm and optimization thinking. So as you can see, the problem asked in most of the companies. So in this video, we will cover brute force, better approach, and optimal Kadana algorithm, dry run, and as well as time complexity. So let's begin. So the problem statement, as you can see, given an integer array nums and find the subarray with the largest sum and return its sum. What does it mean? Contiguous subarray having the largest sum and return that sum. Contiguous subarray. For example, we have to given that particular array like this, and output is 6. How? As you can see, 4 minus 1, 2 and 1. 4 minus 1, 2 and 1 has the largest sum, which is 6. Okay, so it means that this is a contiguous. There is no breakdown. Like, for example, if I pick like 1, then 4, then 2, then 1 and 4, like that. You can't pick the non-contiguous order. Make sure the order must be in a contiguous. Okay, so here you can see the 4 minus 1, 2 and 1 is the contiguous array, like one element comes after uh, the previous element. I hope it's clear. So the brute force approach, which is the main idea, is generate all the possible subarray and calculate their sum and keep track for maximum sum. Okay, the brute force approach comes in your mind like that. We iterate taking a variable which is the max sum and iterate the one loop from 0 to n, and second one from last index to like first last index, starting from the last index, and then for another loop like third loop we are iterating through like find out the sum. Okay, so brute force approach, like we are having the for loop, first for loop, and then second for loop, and then third for loop, like this. Okay, so using the three for loop, that we find out the answer. Okay, so time complexity will be we go up NQ. Okay, because first for loop for starting index, and one loop for ending index, and one loop for the calculating the sum. Okay, that's why space complexity is big one. So the better approach, the main idea of the better approach, like instead of recalculating the subarray sum again and again, we can extend previous sum. Okay, it means that there is no need to take another third loop. Like we can take two loops from I equal to 0 to n, and taking a sum, and then from j equal to I to the length of the array, and then find out the sum, and after that we can find out the maximum sum return. This is also better approach, not good, because here using this loop we can, instead of using third loop, we keep adding next element. For example, like sum equal to sum plus nums object, like that. So this removes the one loop because we are adding the previous element, previous sum into the current sum. So that's why there is no need to iterate the third loop. So time complexity is the slightly better than the previous approach, but not good. Space complexity as well, uh, constant space. So okay, so now let's move on to the optimal approach, which is called the Kadane algorithm. So main idea is the Kadane algorithm. Like, what is the main idea? Main idea of the Kadane's algorithm is like if current sum becomes negative, there is no benefits to carrying it forward. So this is the our concept we are using in the Kadane algorithm. Like if current sum becomes zero, negative, like negative, there is no benefit carrying it forward. Obviously. Okay. So keep adding elements. If sum become negative, like the approach keep keep adding negative. Sorry, not negative. Keep adding elements if sum becomes negative, then reset to zero and maintain maximum answer. Okay, so this is the three key points that we need to understand here. Like if current sum become negative, there is no benefit carrying it forward and keep adding elements. And if sum become negative, then reset it to zero or maintain maximum answer. Okay, so this is the basic understanding of the Kadane algorithm. So now let's move on to the coding part. For better understanding, taking a max sum variable integer dot min value, because we taking a min value here, we taking a maximum sum, so minimum value like negative 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 like that. Okay, also int current sum equal to 0. This is our current sum, this is the maximum sum. Okay, now let's iterate for int num using for each loop. The nums current sum plus num max sum equal to math dot max max sum comma current sum. Got it? Now the this is the main condition that I am going to written here. Like if current sum is less than zero, what does it mean? Then current sum initialize with zero. Got it? At the end, return max sum. Okay. First, we are taking a max sum initialize with the integer min value and then current sum. We will iterate the loop and taking a variable, all the sum, taking in a the current sum and find out the maximum, because comparing with the previous current sum and using with the max sum, and we will also check that condition if that condition is true, like that if current our current sum is less than zero, like if it has a negative number as the okay, this condition that you can see here. Then simply initialize with the zero. After that, iteration is over, then we will simply return the max. Okay, so now let's run this Okay, so Maxim. Sorry, Max. Yeah, accept. So why cadence works? Because if current sum become negative, it will only decrease future sums. Okay, so we discard it, start fresh. Okay, means that discard and starting from fresh current sum. That's why the time complexity of Kadane algorithm is ego of n, and space complexity also uh, big O of 1, which is the constant space complexity. There is no need, there is no extra space here, as you can see in the coding part. So, yeah, for the interview perspective, you can optimize it further. Like you can start from big O of n cube to big O of n square, then big O of n. It's a final explained Kadane algorithm. So, the most important part of that Kadane algorithm is if current sum become the negative, start a new subarray. You need to understand this thing. Always remember this thing when you are applying the Kadane algorithm in any problem. Okay. So this was the complete explanation of the LeetCode 53 maximum subarray. Okay. This is the and so be covered in this video like brute force approach, better approach, as well as Kadan's algorithm and dry run and the complexity analysis. So if you like the explanation, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and keep practicing DSA. Thank you so much.